Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the Morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. Okay, today we're going to finish off the first part of the Sikha. We're going to the next point, which is going to be the next point is going to really be about bittul and about what's the mindset that we should come into marriage. Now, this is not technically what the discussion is about, but it lends itself to that idea. We're going to talk about some marriage advice, marriage skills, shalom bayis. And yeah, we're going to end off today about Shiur Nefesh, and then we get on to that next point. Just a quick idea. So I'm learning chassan classes, and we're discussing shalom bayis. It's a very interesting, important, very fundamental topic. And one of the things I was thinking about while we're discussing, we're talking about a lot of sort of things you teach. You should teach a chassan. Certain words to use, certain ways to speak, and things like this, and certain things to do, actions. But the ultimate vart is the hanacha. And what we're going to learn in this week in these sikhs is the hanacha. And hanacha is what's the action, meaning what's the approach. The essential approach is that we're one. And especially in the beginning of marriage, when you're not really having married for long, you don't understand that dynamic. It takes time to learn it. But the mindset coming into marriage is that I'm half and my soon-to-be spouse is half, and together we become one. And with that, and the effort we're going to put in is not that I'm me and you are you, like the famous vart, whatever. If I am I and you are you, then I am I and you are you. But if I am I because you are you, remember the whole it's a whole long arichas. But the point is that it's about us. That if it's about us, so then we're separate. If it's about the other person, then we're together. And that's what marriage is all about. And all these tips and tricks that they teach is how to express that idea. Because as much as we might understand the idea, how to express that. And so what we're going to learn is this. And this is a very important vart, because even if we're not married, but getting ourselves ready for marriage. Everyone is either married or in shidduchim, or getting ready for shidduchim. So in order to get ready for shidduchim, we have to prepare ourselves and understand the mindset coming into it, and how do we approach marriage. But marriage is the most important institution we have. As the Rebbe said to a lady that she was a public speaker and she had kids, kind of her. So she asked her for bracha that she should be able to be successful with raising her kids, being a mother. The first thing she said is being a mother. The second thing, she's being a wife, and then she's talking about being a public speaker. So the Rebbe said the first thing is being a wife. And the Rebbe was trying to tell her that the most important thing in a marriage is the relationship with the husband and wife, even more than how good of a mother is she. I think it's a very important point to emphasize. Finishing off the sikha. Don't want to have much time. So we were saying yesterday about the Shiur Nefesh. So the Yidden Shiur Nefesh, they brought the sheep, and they left it by the door beds. And then the Egyptians asked them, and they said, yeah, we're going to shech this. And it was a big Shiur Nefesh. And that helped them because they were lacking of mitzvahs. And then we said, so what does this mean practically? What's Shiur Nefesh that we have to do? The Shiur Nefesh of Ahavas Yisrael. That is Zera Kol HaTorah Kula, like it says about Ahavas Yisrael. This is the whole Torah. This is the foundation of Torah. Having Ahavas Yisrael is another person. And even if a person comes and, so to speak, kicks you, quote unquote, meaning then they're not interested, know that you're having an effect. And it's doing something. And continue the good way, continue doing it. But as we're going to continue saying, has to be a very peaceful, loving, kind way. So finishing it off. And this is a very important point that we're going to say now. It applies not just for the Ahavas Yisrael, but for everything in life. He says the fact we weren't successful. It's a very important point. If the other person that we were trying to affect wasn't affected, and we didn't successfully help them, the problem is not in them, the problem is in us. Because even though you're doing something good, You're trying to help them, you're foraying with them, you're trying to convince them to light Shabbos candles, to learn some Torah, to keep Torah mitzvahs, to keep Shabbos. But the fact is, something that comes from the heart. And therefore, if it's not successful, then you're lacking the nichnas ma'alev, enters the heart. The saying is, something comes from the heart, goes into the heart. So if it didn't come from the heart, then it won't go into the heart. So if it doesn't go into the heart, it means it didn't come from the heart. Meaning, if we weren't able to affect someone the way we were wanting to, it means we weren't being genuine, wasn't being ourselves, wasn't coming real. Our Judaism should be something that the people are wanting to come close to. And how? Because it's Yotzim Alev, comes from the heart. It's like the famous story of Men of Futafas on Mivtzayim in Krachabad. You go into the train station, you go Mivtzayim, so he went Mivtzayim. And with the Baruchim, they go every week. They said, don't go to this guy. He's never happy. I've heard a different version. I heard it over there. I heard us in Manhattan. Men of Futafas got on. And they told him, no, don't speak to this guy. And he, of course, Mendel, he said, I'm going to speak to him. So he came to the guy and he said, you Jew, me tefillin, you tefillin. And that's it. And he put him tefillin. So you could say that by Reb Mendel, came from the hearts, and Nichnas Malev entered the hearts. That's what we're saying. So if we want to be successful, we should say a parak Tehillim, Shiur, Advarim, they should make sure, in order they should come from the hearts. And then it'll be entering the heart. Meaning, there's a certain amount we have to realize, is it coming from a good place? And we're putting in the effort, and we're doing it properly, and we really care about the person. We're just trying to get ourselves points or feel good. What's about ourselves? And even when we put in that effort, but we're not sure, if you come with a bittul, you say Tehillim, you say some Tehillim, you say, Hashem, please help that should come from the right place, and should help them, so that will help. And like we said before, even if it doesn't help straight away, but it will have the desired effect, and for sure, if it comes from a genuine place, the people won't get offended. That's for sure. Just like in Mitzrayim, the strength the Jewish people had. They weren't afraid. They got out of Egypt. Not just we left Mitzrayim, and that was already good enough, but we even came out very wealthy. We took all the kesef and zav, the gold and silver, whereas the Egyptians themselves, they drowned in the sea. Like it says, not even one of them lasted. And even that one that did last, meaning the simple way to read the pasuk, not even one survived. But the deeper way, another way of explaining it is, no one's lasted besides one. Who's that one? That's Pari. He lasted. He got to Nineveh. And over there, Yasa suffered. So it all works out good for us and not so good for Pari. Now, from serious nefesh, we stand strong with the serious nefesh, just like the Yidden. We think about it and we meditate on the fact that the Yidden, imagine being a Yid in Mitzrayim, and Hashem commands us to take a sheep and put it by my bedpost, and that sheep is the Avodah Zarah Mitzrayim, and I'm not afraid, even though I'm a slave to the Egyptians. I'm not afraid, and that helps me get out of Mitzrayim. So with us, we should think about what can we stand strong in. The ability to Hashem should not be afraid of anyone, don't be embarrassed. We walk proudly as a Yid. I'm going down the street. His batlu kol menagdim now will cause that all the naysayers and all the people that are against will be nullified. Should be future redemption speedily nowadays. That's the first part to the Sikha. 5 minutes left, we'll start the next one. We'll get into it. The next one's all about bittul. And like I said in the beginning, bittul is all, we're going to learn how to use this in general in life. And bittul is also the preface. As a quick story, a friend of mine was into shidduchim, and he was by Shlech for Shabbos, and he said to him, no, tell me something about preparing for marriage. What do I need to know? What can you tell me? So he said, it's all in Chassidus. So he's like, what do you mean it's all in Chassidus? Well, I didn't see anything about marriage. So he says, bittul. It's all about bittul. So bittul, we're gonna understand what it means. We're gonna bring about it, and we're gonna appreciate how we can use that to help us have a good marriage. The Pasha, Yeshna Gam, Mitzvah, Achilles Matzah. In this Pasha, we also have the mitzvah of eating matzah. Shivas Yamim Techal Matzah, like it says in the Pasuk, 7 days eat matzahs. Mitzvah, Achilles Matzah, Nishar Gam Izman Azeh, K'mitzvah Midaraisa. The mitzvah of eating matzah is different than the other mitzvahs of Pesach, that it even applies Daraisa from the Torah even now. Now, B'ofen Klali Kayemim. In general, there's 3 ideas of Pesach. There's Pesach, Matzah, Maram. All the other ones are on a lower level. But it's the Rabbanon, and we're just like a remembrance, just something that we talk about. The Matzah, whereas eating matzah, even now, according to the Shulchan Aruch, is even Daraisa. Vav. So now let's understand what the difference between matzah and chametz. I have the bein matzah chametz or matzah. There's 2 differences. Very interesting. The chametz misnase isa with chametz the dough rises. Whereas the matzah the dough stays as it is, doesn't rise. What does it mean spiritually? Chametz, Yeshus is Nasus. Chametz is Yeshus, is ego, is Nasus, is making yourself big. And a matzah is batlus. Matzah's opposite is batlus, keeping yourself low. We have to understand all these things. Therefore, in Yana shall mitzvah matzah hu lechem. That's why the main thing of matzah is called poor man's bread. The fish husa shall matzah he is batlus, because the essence of matzah is being humble, being simple, small. But this only expresses itself in poor man's bread. Even if you need matzah that's ashira, I think it means with water. Here shall I say today matzah we can only matzah with the poor man's bread. Even in Mitzrayim, they ate poor man's bread. And that's the first thing we need to, and we're going to discuss it. And the second thing, they both have similar words in matzah and chametz. Prat lekach shematzah hi be'ois hey, chametz be'ois ches. Matzah and chametz both have a mem, both have a tzaddik. The difference is matzah has a hey, and chametz has a ches. A hey and a ches, that's the only difference. But hey, daima is the ches, and hey and ches look very similar. Kol achas mehem morkev zosha mishalish kavim. They all have 3 sides to it. Pesucha milmat and all open from the bottom. But I have the hu rak bekach sheaches segura mishosh tzadadim legamre v'ilo hahei yesh psich milmayla. So ches is, let's say, look like this. It's a ches, whereas the hay has a little opening on the side. And that's a difference. Just to end off, continue on the discussion before, what is chametz and matzah in the spiritual sense? Bittul does not mean that I'm a nobody. Bittul means I'm a nothing but Hashem. Bittul means taking yourself. Ego is edging God out, and bittul is bringing God in. Bittul means I look at myself not as a separate entity, and my own self-existence separate from everything else. Bittul is that I'm connected to God, and my life is all about God, and I'm closer to God. With that comes a lot of empowerment. It's not about just me, but it's about my purpose in the world. Hashem put me as His shliach. Hashem has a mission for me, and I'm here to do something. I was created to serve my master. That's bittul. Bittul is about there's God, and I'm part of that, and I'm connected with that. Matzah, chametz, isnasus, ego is I'm separate from God. And put it in terms of marriage, if you have bittul, my wife and I are one, or my spouse and I are one, and the more bittul we have, the more oneness we have, and the yeshus and the chametz is the more separate we are. And our job in marriage, preparing ourselves for marriage, is having that bittul, working on that connection with Hashem. We look at ourselves not as me and as God, not kel ha'elam, God of the world. There's a world and there's God, but kel elam, that God and the world are one. I am one with God, and we try to do this, try to express this, and we try to work on this. And how do we do this? By doing Torah mitzvahs, by thinking about God, by connecting with God, and realizing that Hashem has a mission for me, that I'm part of that mission. I'm not separate from God. I'm part of my existence is part of that mission, and I connect with it. And when we connect with this, that puts us in that frame, the mind frame or mindset of bittul, and that mindset leaves room for someone else. Because when it's about the yeshus, when it's about the ego, so it's me. So when you come into marriage, there's me and my needs and my wants, and there's your needs and your wants. And either I like them or I don't like them. When you come with a bittul, I'm here for you. What can I do for you? How can I help? How can I make this marriage better? Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have any needs or wants. But first of all, the needs and wants become the critical needs and wants, the ones that are important for a person that they essentially need, versus the ego needs and wants, which are very selfish. And we're a lot more open to helping each other, to communicate, and have all the positives that come with the bittul come out. So we'll be continuous in the next few days. But amidst Hashem, we should think about this. We should realize my connection to Hashem in a way of bittul and not with a way of yeshus. We should be successful and also look at it in our marriage. How can we connect with the other versus what I need? What do I gain out of marriage? How can I make the marriage better? Have a great day, everybody.